Okay, I lost signal again. I don't know what the fuck keeps happening. Every time I go live, something happens. But we are live. Welcome to the Beyond the Junkyard podcast. I am your host, Junkyard James. Beside me, he brought back the Junkyard Apple Cider. My friend K-Dog. How is it going, my friend?
Depending on how the next few minutes go, I may need about 15 more of these, so we'll see. We're here. We're live in living color. It is March 28th, 2024. We're North Carolina, and I'm still wearing a jacket. I don't understand this, but we're here. How the hell are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. That alert you just heard was the fact that the Maple Leafs are absolutely destroying the Washington Capitals right now. But
Worse than they did 2 weeks ago?
It's 4-1.
All right, so not as bad yet. We lost 7-2 last time, so
yeah,
we're almost there.
It can only get worse. No, it's been a good day, I guess. I'm not as stressed as you are. That team right there that I absolutely hate, that it's on my wall right now. They're stressing you out a little bit, aren't they?
A little bit. My heart rate is going up. My heart hurts. But you know what? We are here. We're going to try not to pay attention to that. However, if they lose, I need you to burn the flag. I did not expect this to be where we are in the Sweet 16. So for the fact that we're there is good enough for me. Baseball team's doing good. Yeah. So I'm not going to be upset if we lose. We're playing tight against one of the best teams in the country, so I'll take that.
Yeah, I'd take that any day of the week. But this ain't about basketball right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is about pro wrestling. This is the Beyond the Junkyard podcast. Let's get some housekeeping out of the way. Go to that website on the bottom left there, junkyardmediagroup.com. It's your one-stop shop. Excuse me.
Whoa.
It's a one-stop shop. One-stop shop for everything Junkyard Media Group, blogs. I think I am going to post something here in the near future that I got some thoughts I need to let out, and then I'll put it in written form for you. I don't know when that'll be out there, but keep a lookout for that. It'll be posted on the social media pages, which you can find also on the junkyardmediagroup.com, as well as the link to the Beyond the Junkyard podcast merch store. There's a shop button on the top page there, and that'll lead you right to the merch store there. Go get you some Beyond the Junkyard merchandise. Get you some WWE merchandise from the link in our description. We're a week away from WrestleMania,
Hard to believe
which is part of an announcement that we got to make. That next week, we are still to be decided on if we're going to have a live show on Thursday. We still got to figure out the logistics on that. But you will see us on the Slapping Meat Wrestling podcast next Tuesday. They don't do their show live. It's a recording. So as soon as it comes out, we'll post it on the social media pages. We're going over our predictions for WrestleMania. So that'll be fun. That'll be next Tuesday, and maybe we'll have some shorter recap or whatnot on Thursday. We'll let everyone know later on next week how that's going. And there's one more announcement.
Still something that we have not yet gotten figured out as to prediction for the community, winner of that, all that good stuff. We'll figure that out by Tuesday.
Absolutely. There's one more thing, though, that we need to start to promote. We are about a month away for a big event here on the Junkyard Media Group. I'll let the video play.
That's why I wore this today.
I'll let the video play, and then we'll talk about it here in a minute.
I think we all remember this from last year's draft, when we did our live stream on the Junkyard Media Group.
That's what I mean. Take the jersey off. Take the jersey off.
Let me wait 2 fucking hours for this, you piece of shit.
Let me.
So the question is going to be, can he have a better or a worse reaction this year? Stay tuned. We're calling audibles again soon, boys.
It was not a good day a year ago when the Washington Commanders drafted Emmanuel Forbes, which I still think he can turn out to be all right for you. You don't have to wait an hour. You don't have to wait an hour this time.
No, we don't.
You're going to get your pick within the first 15 to 20 minutes of the draft. Washington picks second overall, but we're doing a live stream the weekend of the Thursday of the draft. There won't be an episode of the Beyond the Junkyard podcast that night for obvious reasons. We're going to bring the Colin Audibles podcast back together for one night only. And, it's going to be fun talking some pro football instead of wrestling for once.
That'll be a fun show. Unless the Commanders trade away the number 2 pick. Listen, it really doesn't matter what's going to happen. You're going to get a soundbite out of me somehow, some way from that show. So just be prepared for it. It'll be entertaining, exciting. Depending on how mad they may make me, it may only be a 20-minute show for me. So we'll see.
And the Washington Commanders select Joe Alt.
We're going to be picking like Grayson McCall for next year's draft and this year's draft. I forget the fact that he's not eligible. Like, I'm telling you, it's not going to be a fun time. But yeah, it's going to be a fun show. Less than a month away from that. So should be a fun night. Can't wait for that.
Absolutely.
But that's then. This is now.
This is now. There's a lot that went down this weekend on the social medias with the internet wrestling community. We're going to get to that later on. We're going to discuss the internet wrestling community as a whole. But I want to bring up a couple things real quick. I put a poll on the social media page, the X page at JunkyardMG just a few hours ago. The numbers for AEW came out, and it's not good, folks. AEW got 747,000 average viewers last night, a decrease of 54,000 viewers. And the question I asked was, what needed to change? Is it booking? Is it placement on the network? Does nothing need to change? There's still time to vote on that poll. Currently, the top vote getter with 63% of the vote is Tony Khan needs to stop booking. But I don't think Tony Khan's booking is the issue. Myself, I think it has to do with the fact that they're on TBS on Wednesdays and not TNT. Now, obviously, Turner's not going to swap the NHL game that typically airs 8 o'clock on TNT with AEW, but I feel like if they put Dynamite back on TNT, I think TNT's in more homes than TBS is. I could be wrong, but I believe that's just one of the things. People don't, they're not advertising it very well on the TV, on the networks, and 2, it's on the B tier network of Turner Broadcasting. I think that is the issue. I really do think if they advertised it better, for God's sake, the NHL network Turner's NHL segments could have used Edge or Adam Copeland and Christian Cage fighting in Boston Bruins and Toronto Maple Leafs jerseys all damn week. But there's no promotion there. I think as well as putting it back on TNT could maybe get the viewership up, but the viewership numbers are not good. The crowd there, 4,000, not a great number. Tony Khan is feuding with none other than Eric Bischoff again regarding some of this stuff. But what's your thoughts overall on viewership?
In the comment section, if you want to bring it up or point at DJ Wavy D, makes that people are watching TV differently nowadays, and that is true. Problems when SmackDown and Raw are still consistently at 2 million viewers a week, it doesn't help the fact that AEW is not getting 900, 950 million viewers. And yeah, I know WWE has been on TV for a lot longer than AEW has. I get that, but I mean, geez, you look at almost 3 years ago that AEW was consistently in the $1 million viewership, and now they're 80, 800, 900,000 mostly. So I don't know what I mean. Really draw people to do TV. I think so as part of it. I just think that overall AEW was just a little bit better of a spot overall during that time period as a company. Maybe not backstage behind the scenes and whatnot, but at least on TV, it made it seem like it was doing really well. I think they just got to do a better job with the marketing strategy overall. Go back to showing commercials on other channels, not just TBS. If you can buy the time, do it. And I think that they should start doing a little bit more, market a lot better than they had before. And overall, just do a better job at advertising and marketing to get that viewership up. I don't think the booking has been that bad, honestly, in my opinion. However, I'm starting to get a little swayed with the women's division as far as we've kind of got the same 4 people on main event spotlights with the Willow and Chris and Julia and Sky, and then Mercedes is in the mix. We've got the TBS Championship already set for Dynasty a little bit less than a month away, and we don't even have the Women's World Championship pick. And I feel like that's kind of it's good and bad. Like, yeah, you want all your titles to mean something, and even if the secondary title has a little bit more meaning at the moment than the main title, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And maybe the strategy is that the 3 months leading into Revolution, it was Deonna and Tony dominating the Dynamite, the Women's World title. And now they're flipping a little bit for where this month build-up is primarily for the TBS title. And I'm sure they're still going to do something with the women's title, but maybe that's the thinking is kind of flip-flop between the secondary title and the main title to make it as a focal point in that division. I don't know. I just think overall that for sure the better marketing is going to happen, better strategies with ticket pricing, better strategy with advertising in the local markets, and just overall just push when it comes to market, waiting the week of or a few days before to make us push for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you saw, I posted on one of our chats like the week before Dynasty, supposedly that Collision is going to have a battle of the belts, and it's at Northern Kentucky University, which is highly confusing why they're making all of these title matches for Dynasty when the week prior there might be a battle of the belts where the titles are going to have to be defended. So I don't know. That's just what the AEW Facebook page had under their events tab. It was like Collision plus Battle of the Belts. So yeah, that's something that they're still doing apparently. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm not a numbers guy. The numbers really don't bother me. Like, as long as I enjoy the product, which I thought last night's show was actually really well put together. And that's all I care about. But it brought me to this one thing. Apparently now we're getting to the point where of analyzing Raw versus Dynamite to the fact that there's pie charts being made, breaking down essentially every minute of the show. I posted this on the social media as well. Figure 1, the percentages of time spent on wrestling, commercials, promos, etc. for Raw. Figure 2, the same breakdown, but for AEW Dynamite. Raw was 34% commercials to only 15% wrestling. And Dynamite over 50% wrestling. This is the difference between WWE and AEW. I can zoom in on these individually. This is the Raw breakdown: 34% commercials, 18% in-ring promos, almost 14% entrances, 15% matches, et cetera, compared to AEW 56.8% matches, including the matches as they were going on in picture-in-picture, 11% entrances, 9.6% commercials that were not included in picture-in-picture, celebration video package. I want to get your reaction initially to these numbers. And I have some thoughts that I want to break down, but is this surprising to you that there's such a vast difference in the style of AEW versus Raw?
Yeah, and I think that there's a reason for that. I think that that's why there's a difference. That it's supposed to be different. AEW has claimed to be the alternative, and that point is to be different from WWE. WWE really prides himself on the in-ring promos, the vignettes, the promo work, the backstage stuff versus the in-ring stuff on their main shows, because that is what the storyline is built up as supposed to be. AEW is the wrestling centric. We do wrestling better. We do more of the in-ring stuff than WWE, and they do. But as you can see on that pie chart, they don't focus so much on the in-ring promos. They didn't focus much on the backstage promos and segments. They had more so the video packages, and that's their way of trying to get over the story. And I think they did a really good job with detailing the behind-the-scene story of Bryan Danielson and why he is the American Dragon, why he is one of the best wrestlers in the world, and detailing Will Ospreay as well. I thought they did a really good job with the build-up for the match for Swerve versus Takeshita. And that's where the difference is at this time. And AEW has done this before, but I like the live mics as well, whether it's in the ring, whether it's on the stage. Backstage is fine, but I feel like AEW is a bit better as far as the promo work, because while the video packages are great, if you don't have some of the current content readily available for, let's say, a promo package for the pay-per-view or something like that, I need to have a build up that's also current. That while there's some past stuff that we should be caught up on, I need some current stuff as well to be thrown in there so it can hype me up for the match. And they've been really hyping up the Danielson versus Ospreay match for Dynasty, which is going to be a bar burner. It's going to be great. And Ospreay's been doing a lot of the in-ring promos on Collision and Dynamite, and that's fine. That's really good. They're doing a good job with the Ospreay Danielson story is where I'm getting at. I just wish that they would do this a little bit more for some of the other stories, more of the promo work to kind of build up for why I should care about whatever match is going on. That's one thing that WWE does a lot, and obviously they work so long, and it's a good formula, and it works for the most part. That's one thing that I wish AEW do a little bit more on is, let those characters evolve a little bit on camera, in the ring, via mic work, on the stage, backstage. Get me to believe into the story that you're telling for whatever the match is that's going to be going on.
Yeah, I think this is the, like I said on the tweet there, this is the visual proof of the differences between WWE and AEW. AEW is a wrestling show meant and aimed for that niche market of fans who want wrestling. Excuse me. And it's choking me up here. Anyways.
Stop smoking.
And WWE is an entertainment company with their sole mission is getting the advertising dollars and such, which is why there's so many commercials. And so the people who enjoy the entertainment value of WWE will enjoy WWE, and those who want the wrestling stuff, they probably will enjoy the AEW stuff. Breaking news: the Clemson Tigers have advanced to the Elite Eight.
Oh, let's go, baby! Oh my God, the historical season is historical, ladies and gentlemen. This never happens in Clemson men's basketball history. That's phenomenal. That's amazing. Let's go. There'll be more junkyard apple ciders to come. All right. Second Elite Eight in school history.
There we go. That's awesome. Good congratulations, I guess, to my rivals. You took
Listen, your women's team is going to win the national championship. Let us have an Elite Eight, all right? Damn it.
All right. We'll let you have it. Moving on to the next part that I want to talk about here is, I don't know if you pay a lot of attention. I might not make it through this episode.
Don't worry, we have somebody that can take your place over here.
I don't know if you paid attention to social media over the weekend, but the internet wrestling community completely went berserk for the dumbest of reasons. For, I think, two of the biggest stories were, number one, just this fantasy booking of Maxwell Jacob Friedman showing up at WrestleMania. And that got really, really annoying. Well, this is how he's going to interfere and help Cody win the belt, blah, blah, blah. Or he's going to turn on Cody and do this. Shut the fuck up. Everybody knows Maxwell Jacob Friedman is staying in AEW right now. Like, stop fantasy. WWE has fantasy. WWE fans have fantasy booked themselves into a corner with several different play. Oh, Okada's going to show up here, and no, he didn't show up there, and Ospreay's going to show up here, and he did. Well, wouldn't it be cool if this guy showed up, or this lady showed up, or if Mercedes showed up at the Royal Rumble, and none of them ever happened? Stop fantasy booking yourself into a corner. It makes yourself, like, just stop it. But it brings me into this point. I'm certain Maxwell's showing up at AEW at some point in the next couple months. What's the percentage that you think MJF shows up at WrestleMania?
0.0.
Yeah, 0.
Actually, you know what? I'll take that back. 1%.
1%.
1%. And that's because he bought a ticket and went to go to see WrestleMania.
Yeah. And so here's a comment here, and I like this comment. They make a good sense. AEW did it to themselves. They took all their stuff off the site and made the noise. They created a buzz. Yeah. Oh, it's a work, folks. This is a work. And you said that with Cody, that it's a work when it was Cody and blah blah blah. Their work. MJF is working you. One, he's injured. Two, he's technically a free agent, so it's not like anything surprising that his merchandise went off of the merch store. Like, not many free agents keep their merch stuff on the Shop AEW store. Like, I mean, it'll all show back up when he shows up. The Sean Ross app, and I know all of the WWE people hate that, and some other dirt sheets have reported the day after Big Business, MJF met with AEW executives in Boston, and they're working on putting a deal together. I think it's 100% certain that he shows up in AEW. My feeling is he'll show up at Double or Nothing, but I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up in St. Louis at Dynasty. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he shows up at Dynasty. I think they may wait until Double or Nothing. But regardless, going back to that comment, though, about more eyes going to be on Mania, that's not a thing. I don't think. I honestly think
every eye in the wrestling
anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
every eye in the wrestling
the biggest
business is
show.
going to be on WrestleMania.
Yeah, we're watching WrestleMania because of WrestleMania. Come on now. I mean, that doesn't make much sense. Last year, WrestleMania was the most watched WrestleMania of all time. It had nothing to do with an AEW crowd drawing towards that. This will probably beat that as well. It's a speculation because of him going to help that. Maybe not. But there's no thing that's helping your competition with that because AEW is a clear-cut number 2 behind the WWE. They're not close, and that's okay. They're not.
I think more people
trying
will
to
tune
be
into
cool,
WrestleMania off the speculation that Cena and Austin are going to help Cody than the fact that maybe MJF has the slimmest of chances to appear and show up in WWE. But the biggest controversy over the weekend, the biggest story in the wrestling world was Rhea Ripley. And it's not for anything that she did per se that was bad, but okay, she shook her ass in the ring, and all of the fanboys and WWE and AEW marks who love Rhea Ripley are just I don't know. They're acting like teenage boys on social media. But the reaction to this, I think, is absolutely batshit insane. Dear internet wrestling community, dear IWC, can we learn to take a joke for a minute? Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to pull up a the tweet here. Here it is. Rhea Ripley shaking her booty cheeks and giving a stink face to Nia Jax. And this guy, I like this guy. He posts pretty insightful stuff on wrestling. We need to talk about the monumental run that Nia Jax has had since returning. She's been in multiple It's clearly sarcasm. You can tell it's sarcasm. And let me see if I can go to some of the comments that this guy got. I just think you needed an excuse to post a thirst trap. He's being sarcastic. He's being funny, trying to joke around. I think someone commented at some point, you have a daughter. You need to post better content. He's being sarcastic. And they try to cancel this guy because of a joke that he made. And I don't understand why there's this double standard. And let's not act like I'm okay with a lot. Like, there's a lot of dudes in the wrestling community who are just absolute creeps when it comes to the female wrestlers in any wrestling division. It's totally weird. I don't condone that kind of stuff. There's people that stalk the female wrestlers and wait till they get off of their planes and try to get autographs and try to get pictures and post all of these photos on all these wrestling groups. I don't condone that. But this guy was making a joke. He wasn't being objectifying in any way or shape or form. He was just trying to tell a joke. Secondly, Rhea Ripley was playing into the fact that she knows that the wrestlers or that the wrestling fans think she's attractive. She did that on purpose. And then the night after, did it again, or tried to do it again to Shayna Baszler, only to be attacked by Nia Jax. So she knows what she's doing. It's all part of the act. It's all just fun and games. And the people that take this so seriously just really get on my nerves sometimes. Because, let's just have a little bit of fun. It's wrestling. It's not real life. Let's not just pretend that he was trying to, I don't know. He's posting it for engagement. I don't know if people realize this. A lot of these social media influencers on the political realm or the entertainment realm, they'll post really cringy, stupid, sarcastic post for engagement, because if they get monetized on X, they get a cut of the ad revenue for their post. So the ones with the most engagement get the highest revenue. He's making a lot of money off of the people who are just hooting and hollering and trying to cancel him. You're actually helping him get more money out from X. So you're I don't know. Your reaction.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like we get into this too often. Sometimes with people, I mean, people can post what they want to, whether or not it's for engagement or not. I mean, people post controversial things, say stupid things, and it goes viral, gets reactions, and I mean, it happens. And Rhea obviously is playing into it because I think she said in a promo that, you know, I don't know if she said it or somebody said it to her in a promo, but it basically was something along the lines of where I could just go online and and see my pictures and get more reactions than you do, or something like that. So I mean, she's clearly playing into that whole thing, and whatever is going to work. I think that for people like me, I don't care too much for the T and A side of that. That was 20 years ago, and we've come a lot further now than we have as far as women's rights, but also women's wrestling, the revolution, and all that stuff. Just don't want to see us, and I don't think we will. We're not going to go back 20 years to the whole bra and panties and degrading women and having them beg and plead and be on their knees and things like that. I don't think we're going to go back to that cringeworthy stuff, but I think WWE is drawing the line when it comes to this kind of stuff, and that's what they did back then, and I think they're trying to do a little bit of it now. And I think that hey, whatever works, and yeah, we can criticize it and judge it, but I mean, going to get reactions. So either way, it's almost, what's that old saying, that bad press, any press is good press type of thing. So whatever works, whatever happens.
So to answer this question that WavD posted, are we mad at the IWC trying to cancel the guy, or mad at I'm mad at the people that are trying to cancel this guy. Like, at the end of the day, like, let's just be honest with each other for a minute. We all make jokes or reactions to the women in wrestling. It is a common thing. And the women do it to the men in wrestling. I can't tell you how many times I go on social media and, like, look at Roman, he's so hot, or look at this guy, he's so hot. It happens. It's just a natural thing that happens in the entertainment business. It's just whatever it is. To the guy who's being sarcastic, and he's getting like almost death threats, essentially, because of what he posted on a sarcastic tweet. That people have to realize he's only doing to get the engagement so that he can get ad revenue money. I mean, it's a good marketing ploy if you think about it for this guy. Like, let me post something a little bit controversial, yet a little bit risque, and I know is popular in the moment, and let the engagement go up. That's a good strategy on his part. And it's like, he didn't say anything super objectifying of any of the wrestlers in the ring, and so I don't have a problem with what he said. It's not like he was like I saw someone who said something like, it was a picture of, I want to say it was Sky Blue, and someone commented on it and said, like, I eat the corn out of her shit or something like that. That's weird. Like, that's weird shit. Don't say that shit. But like, what this guy said is like nothing, and he's just being sarcastic and trying to make a funny joke about Nia Jax using a popular video that's viral on the internet. So anyways, this isn't because
go get a damn cough drop, son. Jesus,
I have something, I don't know what it is.
Go get something, more than something.
Let's go ahead and jump into round number 2 of Push, Bench, Fire.
I know I'm in a bad
righty. Push, bench, fire round 2. I don't know if you guys saw this week's matchup here. Posted it a couple days ago. Push, bench, fire. We got AJ Francis, a.k.a. Top Dollar, which, hey, I think he signed a TNA contract earlier this week, from what I understand, like an actual contract. I think before he was on a per appearance contract. I think he's actually signed a full TNA contract at this point. So congrats to Top Dollar there. We got Orange Cassidy and we got Brian Keith. I am going to let you start first while I get a cough drop or something.
Hold on. Yeah. Give me a second. So I'm sorry. Brian Keith, Top Dollar. Who else?
And Orange Cassidy.
Okay, Orange Cassidy. Push, bench, fire. Okay. Gonna have to push. Man. I'm gonna have to fire Brian Keith just because I don't know. I know he's on AEW. I don't know much about him as a character, the bounty hunter thing. I don't know much about it. Seems like he loses every match he's in AEW. I'll tell you that much. So for that reason alone, I'm gonna say fire. Bench. I'm gonna have to. Let's see. I'm gonna have to. Man, I'm gonna have to push OC. I'm gonna have to push him, and know it's an AEW guy saying that because he's an AEW talent. I just Top Dollar is entertaining, but I think Orange Cassidy is a little bit more entertaining. I just think that there you go. Maybe that is true. I don't know, Jamie. You gotta tell us that.
No comment.
Yeah, there you go. So cheers to that, sir. Yeah, I'm gonna have to push OC just because of the entertainment aspect. It's just he keeps finding ways to entertain me without even doing much. And then Brian Top Dollar, I'll bench him. I'm not gonna fire him, but I will fire Brian Keith just because I don't see much about him. I don't see much to him.
All right.
You know, if you cough a few more times, we might get a sponsorship here from Robitussin or like Dayquil or Nyquil here somewhere. That deserved a mute, you son of a bitch. That deserved a mute. You got people here growing up because you're coughing up a lung over here. Nyquil if you're hearing this, Dayquil if you're hearing this. Hey, you know, you may have somebody over here that needs something.
I'm going to start with who I'm benching. And I'm benching Brian Keith for this reason. He's a veteran that's the top of the game. I really like Brian Keith. You should watch some of his DPW matches, some of his stuff on the Texas scene. And he's just too experienced of a wrestler for me to be like, yeah, we got to let you go. So I'm going to bench him. I'm going to keep him in catering in case something happens where we get a lot of injuries, and I know he can fill in for me. I'm going to next go to who I'm pushing, and that's Orange Cassidy. Simply because the other option I have is Top fucking Flopper, who can't wrestle to save his goddamn life. So I can't stand Top Dollar in the ring. I know I congratulated him just a minute ago on getting this contract. I can't stand this man. He sucked on the Washington Redskins when he played football. He sucks in the ring. He's a terrible promo guy. I can't stand Top Dollar. So give me Orange Cassidy on the push. And I'll fire Top Dollar. I'm waiting for the comments to be like, "Don't slander Top Dollar. That's my guy. No one hotter than Top Dollar." And I promise you right now, my cough can tell a better promo than Top Dollar right now. And that is Push, Bench, and Fire. Everybody, we're going to move on to our final segment of the night, which is our Q&A on the Discord, which, let's plug the Discord again. Junkyard Media Group.
Venture
Lunch. JunkyardMediaGroup.com. Join the Discord, and we can ask us some questions as we go along. Tonight, we got a few questions that popped in real late, right before we started. I asked just, hey, last chance, everyone. Any questions for the podcast? And we got a few. So let's start with Wavy D. He asked us a couple questions. How would you go about, quote, trimming the roster in AEW if you feel like that is something that is needed? I'll let you go first.
Well, I think that if you have ROH, you need to put some of those guys and gals in ROH to let them build up their talent, and that kind of trims the roster. If you keep ROH as a dedicated brand and leave it alone and leave it separate than AEW, yes, that Matt Bennett or Mike Bennett and Matt need to go to ROH because they're the ROH Tag Champions. Get over there. Same with Bullet Club Gold being the ROH 6-man Tag Team Champions. Get over there. Get off AEW TV, and once you lose those, come back onto it. I mean, it makes it special when you're. To me, it makes it special when you show up once for one show, not twice for 2 shows in 2 days. Like,
right.
I for the life of me, don't understand why we keep thinking that the AEW ROH correlation is working, and it's leave it alone.
Because I still ain't watching.
Yeah.
I still ain't watching ROH on a weekly basis.
No. And Hikaru Shida has been feuding with Athena for the ROH Women's title. Sheeta's strictly been on ROH television, the storyline. They're probably going to main event that pay-per-view, Super Card of Honor, in a couple weeks in Philly. Fantastic. That's perfect. Leave them on ROH. They don't need to be in AEW. That's one way to trim the roster. The second way is, honestly, I mean, some of these talent that we have that don't appear on TV but once every 5 months. Lance Archer, I'm looking at you. Riho, for the life of me, I don't understand. Nick Camarado. These guys that show up once in a blue moon, just to get a quick L and then leave, or be in a feud for 3 weeks and then leave. Just let them go, man. Just let them go. They don't need to be in AEW filling up time, and then they're tossed away for a few more months, and then they come back. Like, let them go. Let them go. Only keep the people that are going to be on TV on a consistent basis, and then go from there. And if you feel like you're still getting a little stale, maybe once in a while have somebody come in and appear for just a stint or two. But like, it's a pattern with Archer. Every few months he comes in, has a little bit of a feud, and then goes away for another 6 or 7 months. Like,
right.
Can't be doing that.
Yeah, I think you're right with. I might not make it through the rest of the show, but anyways, I think the first thing that you said, the first way that you can, I guess, quote, trim the AEW roster is do a hard brand split between AEW and Ring of Honor, and build a women's division in Ring of Honor, like they're building the women's TV champion. I think that match, a Super Card of Honor between Queen Aminata and Billy Starks. Use ROH as your quote-unquote developmental, like NXT is to Raw and SmackDown. and I know we could get on this topic again of, well, NXT's not really developed. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Yes, it is. And I think ROH could be that perfect way to get people exposed to a TV style of audience without being live on TV on an AEW show. You can have them on a taped Ring of Honor show and get them developed and really push some of the newer talent. And I mean, quite honestly, there's just some people that don't deserve a contract at this point. And the one thing that Tony Khan does that, and I get why he does it, is he lets the contracts expire. He doesn't fire a lot of the wrestlers. You might have to do a mass release at some point. And I know it's tough. People are losing their jobs, but like there's a lot of people that aren't used on a regular basis. And by regular basis, I mean we probably haven't seen them for several months, not just like several weeks, but like several months. People like Miro, like honestly, what is he doing? Like, where's he going? Like he had his one stint. I think he was supposed to be part of this Meet Mayhem match or whatever that they changed last minute at Revolution, and he wasn't there. And like honestly, Keith Lee, he's kind of gone stale. He had his time in the sun. I wouldn't be so sad to see him, either move to ROH full time or just let go. Like it's one of those things where there's just too many people on the roster, and if you're not being used, like in my opinion, it doesn't make sense to keep them around that long. Colorado, Ogogo, Aaron Solo, like all of those people, like if you were being used, I could, and maybe they have a backstage presence that we don't see. I don't know, but yeah, you just kind of go through and figure out which people like you don't need, and if you don't need them, then you don't need them, and you let them go. All righty, DJ Wavy D asks,
I'll tell you what. Before Anthony Ogogo gets released fully, I need him once to come out to whether it's at All In, whether it's at TV and on Dynamite or Collision. Need that son of a bitch to come out to wake me up before you go. Like just once, please. That'll make this entire thing worth it.
We're gonna back up a minute, and I was talking about MJF going to WrestleMania and for the WWE marks to stop fantasy booking. MJF and same thing goes to the AEW folks. Stop fucking posting on social media that Prince Devitt and AJ Styles are going to show up in AEW. No, they're not. AJ Styles has already said once his contract is done with WWE, he's not signing another contract anywhere else. He's going to retire in WWE. Stop fantasy booking this. It's not going to happen. If AJ was going to go to AEW, he would have not signed his last contract that he just signed. He would have just gone straight to AEW. The Bullet Club's not reforming. You can stop fantasy booking it. It doesn't. It's not going to happen. Anyways, we were talking about trimming the roster, and that popped into my head. Next question by DJ Wavy D. Outside of the women's division, what part of the on-screen product needs the most work?
I'll let you take that one first.
So the production is actually really great. So I don't think we need to change anything with the production. Like quite honestly, the TNT title scene has been really stale the last several months. With Christian kind of like now that Copeland has the belt, there's really no advancement. And now all he's going to do is John Cena Open challenges every week, it seems like. And so I would probably go with that, like cleaning up the mid card scene, because it seems like the top of the card for AEW is really good. Like we have defined storylines with some of our upper mid card and main storylines for the world title and such. Like the Ospreay Danielson storyline, great, fantastic. We have a definitive storyline there. We have a definitive storyline with Swerve and Samoa Joe, but like outside of that, on the men's side, the TNT Championship just changed hands, and there's not a definitive story going into who's going to be the number one contender to fight for the belt. All we know is Adam Copeland is going to be doing open challenges, and as much as I like the idea of anybody at any time can wrestle for the belt and being a workman champion, the open challenge thing, AEW has tried it several times and it hasn't worked. And so I'm gonna say if they could clean up the mid card a little bit and make it so that there are really good storylines from beginning of the show to the end of the show, I think that would be a really good thing on all ends.
I can see that. I would somewhat argue a little bit and just say that it's kind of right now the international title and the TNT title have flip-flopped, mainly because the TNT title went from a heel to a babyface, the international title went from a babyface to a heel. So you're gonna have the heel not defending it as much and not doing much with it, like Roddy is, at least for the first month of his title reign. He hasn't done anything with that belt. And then with the TNT title, now that Adam Copeland has won it, the TNT title didn't get defended on a great pattern because Christian was the heel champion, so he, defended when he needed to. And so the workhorsemanship of the TNT title. So I think that's where kind of flip-flop, and it'll be fine. For me, the tag team scene needs to come back. I mean, the obvious answer is still the women's division, because they just need to define these stories more and build these characters up and make them, they've got the roster. They've got the roster for the women's division now. Just use it. And when Jamie Hayter comes back and when Britt comes back, this is going to be the best women's roster that AEW has ever had. And I don't want to say it rivals WWE's, but if they can get enough of the storytelling and the time to tell these different stories, they'll be great. I'm going to say the tag team division at the moment, and I know that they're doing a tournament for the belts, which is great. Totally fine. I just hope that we get tag team champions that aren't two singles guys. Big Bill and Ricky Starks, while I was happy for them to win the belts and they have good chemistry, they were singles guys that came to be a tag team specialist. I
swear to God, if we get the Young Bucks versus FTR again, I'm going to fucking scream.
I won't scream. I enjoy them. I do enjoy matches. But right now, the final, we've got Orange Cassidy and Trent versus the Young Bucks next week. And then we're going to get the winner of the FTR
Infantry match.
Infantry and
Big Bill Ricky versus
not the Righteous. Top Flight. I would love to see Top Flight belts. It'd be cool to see them do it. Problem the wish right now is the PR again.
So I think the obvious answer is the Bucks are going to win those belts, but I would love to have a match we haven't really seen before, and have kind of like, because it is March Madness season. I think that's the only reason they're doing a tournament, is because it's March Madness season. And have like the Cinderella story and have like the Infantry versus the Young Bucks in St. Louis. I don't know if that'll happen, but that'll be cool. They kind of staled on the tag titles to push over the whole Sting retirement thing. They kind of sabotaged it for a little bit to let Sting and Darby hold the belts until Sting retired. And so, yeah, they have the tag teams to make it a legitimate tag team scene. It's going to take some time to build it back up.
But I mean, for about 2 years, if not 2.5 years, AEW was known for their tag team wrestling and how they had the best tag team division in the world. So while it's taken a back seat here over the last 7-ish months, it just needs to be they'll back up a little more and make it back to where it was before.
Absolutely. We got a first-time question giver here. Kara Danvers on the Discord states, if AEW started a Hall of Fame, where would the Hall of Fame be located, and who would be the first class?
I think it'd be funny if it was in Chicago, but I think the obvious choice is Jacksonville. What was the second part of that question? Who
would be the first class? I have my first class. I've already kind of thought about this because I had the question longer than you have. So I'll give my class.
How many people are in your class? Give me that. 5? 2. Okay.
2.
All right.
2. My first class consists of Sting and Brody Lee. And the reason I say Sting and Brody Lee is I believe Tony Khan was on a podcast last week, and that's basically who he said those two would be, if they had a Hall of Fame, they would be the ones that would be they would be included in the first class. There's just nobody else. Like, everybody else is still an active wrestler. Like, I wouldn't want to put Danielson currently because he's still an active wrestler. And, you know, there's really nobody else, in my opinion, that deserves to be part of the first class except Sting and Brody Lee.
That's fair. I am going to go with that's a tough one. I'm also going to say Brody Lee, obvious reasons. But I'm also going to say Chris Jericho. I think without Jericho, AEW wouldn't be on TBS, TNT, Warner. Jericho was the first AEW World Champion because he needed to be the World Champion and did so very well. And kind of established AEW as a legitimate company, from an upstart to a legitimate company with legitimate TV rights and deals and things like that. And main event of the first 2 pay-per-views. Not the first ones. Main evented Double or Nothing with Kenny. Main evented All Out with Hangman. And then Full Gear with... Or he didn't main event because Moxley and Kenny main evented that show. But he was in Full Gear. And then he main evented against Moxley Revolution 2020 where he lost his title. So I'm going to have to go with Jericho and Brody Lee.
There's an add-on to this question that WBD just added on. Would you want AEW's Hall of Fame to be strict Hall of Fame career, like I guess AEW career, or all of wrestling across the world career? I would like it to be like who helped build AEW the most. Like I think there's obviously with people like Brody Lee, he wasn't in AEW a long enough time to have a historic career in AEW, but he was a pretty big piece when he was a part, of the storyline before his terrible, tragic passing. And like Sting wasn't like in major storylines. he's just had a legendary career, and he finished his career in AEW. He was like the first legend to really retire in AEW.
I think it would be cool because AEW does recognize promotions that these people wrestled in, that it does make sense from an all around the world wrestling career perspective. But I would like them to leave a lasting impression on AEW, whether it's winning a world title, a singles title, retiring in AEW, doing something that is memorable enough to say, oh yeah, he had a really good AEW run, or she. But obviously, like if Mercedes won the Women's World title, won a TBS title, and finished off her career in AEW, she should definitely be in the AEW Hall of Fame. But let's not forget the stuff that she did before AEW. She just happened to do great things in AEW as well and finish her career there. But we can't forget the stuff beforehand.
Absolutely. We're going to end it here. I believe that is every question that I got. Actually, I missed one. Mr. Clodfelter posted one earlier. How would y'all advertise AEW better? Honestly, any advertising would be better than what we have now.
What they did in 2019 when they had buses wrapped with AEW stuff on it, when they had billboards going across different cities they were coming to, New York at Times Square in Las Vegas, and in different big cities that have big center squares that have these huge LED boards. They posted their advertisement on there. During baseball games, I remember, like I said before, when I was watching the Braves, a Braves game on TBS, they showed a all-out pay-per-view promo. Do that again. Channel it across not only Turner Network stuff and collaborate with Turner Network programming, but spend the extra money on advertisement across different channels. So that way, this is with different promotion, people watch different things on television, get them to come over. When you announce something happening in a city, I need you to go full press with that city that you're going to, because AEW does not run very many shows. They're not WWE that does Raw, SmackDown, potential pay-per-views, NXT live events, NXT shows, WWE live events, pay-per-views. They don't do all that. They just do Dynamite, Rampage, sometimes Battle of the Belts, and pay-per-views. So make it a big deal that we're coming to your city. We don't come here very often, or we haven't been back in a long time. Make it a big deal. As soon as those tickets go on sale, you need to promote that crap all over on social media. Do some newspaper stuff. Do some local ads on radios and television and billboards. Set the ticket pricing lower to start, because if demand is not there, why would you set the ticket prices to $80, $90 for mid-tier, lower-level seats? Start them cheaper, build up the audience first, and then if you need to go a little bit higher in the meantime, maybe a little bit, but if you outprice your demo, it's not going to work. You got to price tier right, because you're still only 4 or 5 years old. Some of these markets are still going to for the first time, and people would be like, yeah, I would like to go to see that person's there. I'm not spending $100 on the ticket. I don't blame you. So start out with good lowering ticket prices first. All the ads you can do on sale dates. Market the hell out of those cities you're going to. TV ads during hey, Dynamite's coming to your town. More of that, please, for the love of God, please do that, because there's been way too many times where they go to a market and people are like, I just now learned about it because they ran an ad on my TV.
The day before.
Social media ads, social media ads work a little bit, but that works just as good. You got to do more of that. Get these people into those cities weeks and weeks and weeks in advance, so that way people can refresh their memories with it.
I can easily remember every time that a Raw or a SmackDown or even like a WWE live show is coming to Charlotte or Greensboro or whatever. We get on the local networks, we get those, especially Fox and stuff. They advertise it like, oh, come go see John Cena here at Spectrum Center, and I've in the last several years have yet to see an AEW ad specific to a regional market. They need to do radio ads are cheaper than TV ads, and I mean, not a lot of people listen to the radio, but I mean, it's still a pretty big form of media. Like, do some radio ads, do some Spotify or Pandora or iHeartRadio ads. Like, just throw it out there. Any advertising is better than what we're getting right now. It just feels like
especially with all. I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Especially now with as much as I pay for trying to find things that don't have commercials because I hate commercials. I'm still forced to watch commercials or listen to them all. Even if I listen to a podcast on Spotify, they will have ads fixated into the show. You can't skip it. Or if you do skip it, you still have ads within the show that you're listening to.
Right.
So if I'm forced to listen to and watch these ads, and sure, it may cost a little bit more money because you're competing with some of these other ad campaigns to advertise.
Right.
But do it for a 6-7 week period of anytime somebody's listening to Pandora or watching Hulu or YouTube or something, and they don't have premium and they have to watch ads. Bam, there you go. Make it happen. And if you're not worried about having a profit or making a loss or nothing like that, spend the money wisely. Spend it on those advertisement dollars because that's what's going to help draw eyes to your product and help people come out more with lower ticket prices too. So you have to be there more than what I think is going on and what I feel is still going on.
Yeah, they just hired a Clemson alum to be.
Yeah, they did.
COO, Chief Operations Officer. So hopefully they.
Although he might be a little bit busy
out.
right now because he's out west watching his team play.
Maybe so. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the marketing gets better. We do need some better marketing of the product. It just kind of feels like AEW has kind of given up on trying to reach a new audience. They're just kind of content with the 800,000 folks that watch their show, and they'll get they'll try to reach England and Australia and Canada, but you kind of have to reach every part of the globe to have a balance.
Here's a last question that relates to that. Do you think that because of this TV deal that they're negotiating still with Warner Media as well as potential other suitors, that they've not done a great job with the marketing ad campaigning for different things because they're in such a big TV deal that maybe a potential bidding war, that their focus isn't on that once we get this new TV deal, then we're going to go full court press on the advertisement stuff and not pay attention to that as much currently?
Yeah, that's an option. That's a possibility. I do think it's interesting that Dynasty, for the first time, I think in ever maybe, will be in the U.S. markets available for purchase on Fight TV, which is now Triller TV. I found that out, and YouTube for purchase. So I wonder what that means with the Warner Bleacher Report whole thing. Like, what's the TV deal going to look like? Maybe their idea is the TV deal is going to include a bigger marketing budget from the media television company themselves, and so AEW wouldn't have to put up as much money to market the show. I don't know. I don't have any backstage knowledge of that. It'll be interesting to see. But I don't know. I just get so tired of going on social media when Brian Alvarez posts AEW hit 797 or whatever they hit this week, and everybody's like, "Oh, Bischoff is right," and blah blah blah. No, it's a dying company, but it's like, shut the fuck up. No, it's pretty. It's the third best show on Wednesday nights behind like basketball. I think was the NBA. A couple of NBA games I think had a higher in the key demo. But I don't know. They do need to market it better though, and try and reach out to a wider base. But yeah, I think we'll leave that there. Any last words before we go, my friend?
Fight like hell. Go Tigers. That's all I got.
Go Tigers. Remember, next week, y'all, we will be on the Slapping Meat Wrestling podcast on Tuesday night doing our WrestleMania predictions. Hopefully, I won't have whatever the fuck I have right now. That's
Got herpes.
That's causing me to fucking die. Squeak like a penguin.
You sound like the penguin from Toy Story 2.
Right.
Like a sun coming on.
And yeah, we'll be on the Slapping Me Wrestling podcast next Tuesday. Maybe we'll have a show next Thursday. That's still to be decided. We got
If
on
James
Tuesday.
is living by then.
Right. Yeah. And we will see y'all on the next episode of the Beyond the Junkyard podcast.
Have a good night, everybody.